Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. It's Thursday. We're almost to Friday. How's everybody feeling today? Good? All right, let's get you warmed up and start the day. Today's the day when you walk outside in the morning and you can feel the chill to the air. You know what I'm talking about? Where you can see on the sidewalks some leaves blowing, and that means the end of summer. I know I'm a big summer fan myself, but I like autumn as well. You know, when you live in the Midwest like I do, this show streams live from Jefferson City, Missouri. You get to enjoy all four seasons. And Missouri, yeah, the weather can be a little bit weird, but for the most part, you get to enjoy almost full four seasons of what we have on the Great Plains here in the United States. And it's a beautiful thing. You can smell the differences, right? All of a sudden you start to smell like bonfires in people's backyards, and you're starting to think about, oh, what are we going to do for this fall for the kids? Like, what's going on with school? People are going back to school. I love seeing pictures of my nephew, who's 15 years old, and he is going to high school for the first time starting this week. Way to go, Mario. Mario's 6 feet tall. He's 15 years old, 6 feet tall. My nephew, he like right over there, 1 inch above me. I was like, the day that he got me, I think it was last Christmas, I was like, man, you are taller than me, son. His kids grow up fast, and certainly so is my little sweet baby Hazel. She's starting to get that little belly, you know. She went from being this kind of like tiny little like almost skeletal, not like skeletal. We didn't, you know, when she came out, but when she was born, she was tiny, teeny little sticks for arms and legs. And now she's starting to get that swell belly, you know what I mean? And then like the little, like the cheeks, like they used to have the cheeks where they were kind of like flat like mine, but now her cheeks are starting to poke out. You're just kind of like, oh, it looks like a delicious cheek that I can eat and kiss and savor and put in the oven for at 350 degrees for 6 hours, and it'll come out delicious like little pork cheek. You know what I'm saying? What, is that what you're weird? The pudgy baby. Yes, we love the pudgy baby. Hope you guys are gonna. I hope you guys are having a great morning and you're feeling good wherever you're at around the country. Shout out where you at, where you're listening to the show from. Let me know. You can also send us a text at 573-319-1586 and tell me where you're listening to the show from today. I'd love to hear from you guys. We're gonna be talking about the big news per usual. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. rumors swirl that Donald Trump and RFK will become the ambiguously gay duo. The ambiguously gay duo. No, just kidding. Or am I? Super Friends. Will there be a team up, a Trump team up with RFK Jr.? Some people are skeptical. Others are really optimistic about it. I guess the big question, and what I posted on X yesterday, which blew up and went viral, is will RFK Jr. supporters go over to the Donald Trump camp? Yeah, that's the big question. We'll have to talk about that. And we are going to talk about that. I've got a million billion clips, many of which are from the DNC. There's always something a buzz related to what the Democrats are doing this week. So we'll keep an eye on some of those clips. We've also got a lot of appearances from Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s VP pick, Nicole Shanahan. And I've got a nice 3-minute discussion that she had on Fox News yesterday with the rumors that talking about the rumors that they may drop out this Friday. And if they do, I don't think they're going to be endorsing Kamala Harris. Some people think that, well, that might be the case, but I definitely don't agree with that. But love to hear your thoughts. Again, drop them in the chat and send us a text if you would like to contact the show. Oh, also, don't forget, click that like button. If you're a regular guest in the show, I have to remind you sometimes because even like people like Frickety or Courtney Conover, or, you know, the regulars who join us live in the mornings and are big supporters, you know, we've all got, you know, we've all got things going on in our lives, and we don't think, oh, Austin, I'm going to need to click the like button on the stream. But it makes a huge difference for us over here. When you click that like button, it shows us that our show is getting engagement, and you know, Rumble might feature us on the front page because, you know, it's nice to have you know, 89 people watching us live right now, and not to denigrate it, but wouldn't we like to see 890 by the end of the stream? I think we would. You can help. So we'll play some clips from Nicole Shanahan, the VP pick, and her conversations. We'll play a million billion clips from the DNC. We'll have Brian Piotr and the King Libertarian on to talk about that at 7:30 a.m. They've got a big announcement to make today. They are part of the For Liberty Network, which is the new podcast network that I'm launching this fall, and they're going to come on and talk about the RFK rumors, as well as, did you hear the news? Apparently, somebody, I don't know if they put them in there, but who knows? At the Democratic convention, that some people were eating maggot-infested food at the DNC. So that's how RFK got the brainwaves. Nah, I'm just kidding. We'll talk about that with the boys at 7:30 as well. At 8 o'clock this morning, it's Thursday, so if you gotta be thirsty, then Camelia Peterson joins us at 8 o'clock a.m. Amelia will join us at 8 a.m. To talk about Generation X being the lost generation. It's funny because the other day when I had Camelia on, it was just Tuesday, we were talking about millennials and boomers and zoomers, and then nobody had mentioned Gen X, and then Camelia is like, well, and then she started complaining about how Gen X is the forgotten generation. And then I kid you not, the next day, so yesterday, the Wall Street Journal has this piece about why is Generation X the forgotten generation. So I don't know if Camelia just manifested that or something, but it appeared in the Wall Street Journal yesterday. I'm like, oh, damn, this is good. So Camelia will join us at 8 a.m. Central to talk about Gen Xers and to answer the question, why does everybody skip over Generation X when we have conversations about, well, what did each generation mean and what did they pioneer? What culture did they have? Like, was there just kind of this black hole of culture or economics and society and the body politic from Gen X, or is it just more of a silent generation to some extent? So we're going to hear from Camelia at 8 a.m. Central on that time. So if you're feeling thirsty, it's Thursday. And Daniela Pensack joins us, of course, for her regular Thirsty Thursday spot. Paniela Densack at 8:30 a.m. Central Time to talk about Senator Rand Paul's op-ed arguing against a new online Internet Control Act that's aimed at protecting children from online predators, but which might be a Trojan horse to take away your civil liberties and privacy online. Daniela Pensack will talk about that, as well as the news that the Tate brothers again raided in Romania. Andrew and his brother. We'll talk about that as well. I think it relates nicely to the kinds of things that Rand Paul is the Rand Paul topic is talking about. So, protecting children, online privacy, and all that. We'll talk about that with Daniela at 8:30 a.m. Central, and she's also got a big announcement. Yay! So today's show filled with big announcements and filled with bonus content. Yes. Does everybody know what the bonus content is? What? No? Oh, well, don't panic. I will fill you in. Every day, the Wake Up America show produces a 5-minute mini documentary on a topic that you may not have heard anywhere else in the news, and we may not have time to cover in our regular podcast during the show. So I produce these mini documentaries to help you stay informed or to give you more background or a deep dive in these stories. And I produce it every single day as a piece of bonus content. If you'd like to watch the bonus content today instead of the commercials that I use to help me bring guests onto the show, you can do that in one of two ways. One, you can make donations on the show, like the regular tips you might see on a Rumble rant or a YouTube super chat, or what a lot of people love to do, and it's a lot more fun and it helps us to get to the total faster, is to go to forlibertyshop.com. And if you do, you can get yourself some incredible merch, which we design in-house for you guys, exclusive products, patriotic merch, where eagles dare at forlibertyshop.com. So, do you want to see today's bonus content? With 105 people, if everybody gave, 50 cents or something like that, we'd hit the $60 goal in no time. So if we hit the $60 goal by the end of the show, then it will unlock and you'll watch the bonus content instead of commercials. But if we don't, then I say,
how dare you?
And it goes away forever. So, okay, are we all clear on the rules now? Everything makes sense? Great, let's get to the news. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to drop his U.S. presidential bid and back Donald Trump, reports say. The independent candidate is scheduled to give a speech about his path forward in Phoenix, Arizona on Friday. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. potentially planning to drop his bid to become the next president of the United States and endorse Donald Trump, according to the media. Kennedy, who is the third child of the icon Robert F. Kennedy, who was assassinated when running for president in the 60s, is considering announcing the end of his campaign during an appearance with Trump in Phoenix, Arizona, which makes you kind of feel like, oh boy. When Kamala Harris was asked about this and whether or not RFK Jr. should go along with Donald Trump, should he go to the rally with Donald Trump, Kamala Harris was noted to have said,
"Do not come. Do not come."
I'm going to come.
Now, many of us know that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. initially ran for the Democratic nomination before he dropped out of the party and ran independent. And this could boost Trump's chances in November if he drops out, especially in battleground states that were won by razor-thin margins in 2016 and 2020. Opinion polls have been consistently showing that Kennedy, who's a longtime vaccine skeptic and environmental lawyer, he draws more support from Trump than the Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. So in an NBC News poll in July, 33% of registered Republican voters expressed a positive view of Kennedy compared with just 15% of registered Democrats and independents. So it's kind of like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is occupying the Tulsi Gabbard space in this year's election, which is a good space for someone to be in. Now, Kennedy never really looked likely to ever challenge Harris or Trump for the White House. He was never really polling in an area that made it look like he might be kind of dangerous. His campaign only attracted double-digit support briefly before it dropped to about 5% in recent weeks. So Nicole Shanahan has been doing the rounds and giving speeches and making announcements about this and having conversations on Fox News about, answering questions like, why would they be more amenable to Donald Trump than they would Kamala Harris? Here's an interesting interview. Take a listen.
I have to say there's only one party that has obstructed a fair election for us. And unfortunately, it was the Democratic Party. They've done everything they can, including creating PACs to prevent us from being able to have ballot access.
Yeah, it's interesting because you were saying that you could stay in and run the risk of Kamala Harris win, or you could walk and you could join forces with Donald Trump. When you say join forces, Nicole, what do you mean specifically?
Well, this idea of a unity party, an idea of us coming around these principles of fighting for liberty in this country, fighting for our children's health. We have the worst.
That's not something you hear out of center-left people's mouths these days much. That word, that liberty word, I was kind of like triggered. I was like, what's happening here? She used the L word.
Chronic health crisis in the world right now. Over 50% of children are diagnosed with some chronic disease. This is unconscionable. Yeah. And we are willing to work with anyone who is sincere in their endeavor to fix and address this issue.
Do you believe the Trump campaign and Trump himself is sincere? Do you see a home? You talk about this as being Bobby's decision. Do you see a home for RFK Jr. in the Trump administration, Health and Human Services, is something to that extent?
Good
I would fully
questions.
support it. I would fully support a strong partnership dedicated to this issue. A lot of people comment that in his first term he didn't accomplish many of the things that mothers really were hoping he would do. Made some big mistakes around the pandemic. However, I think that he is sincere.
Yeah,
I do.
I think it's interesting because the National Review today kind of agrees with.
It's kind of refreshing to hear from somebody like a Nicole Shanahan. She comes from the uber elite tech mogul, center left, hard left, kind of progressive group of people. So to hear her talking like that's pretty refreshing.
With you, it's saying that if you in fact join the Trump I'm not saying the Trump campaign, if you pulled out of the race, that it would be more beneficial to the Trump campaign than the Harris campaign.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
I think that it's a tight.
Oh, Mighty Megatron over the chat says, nah, RFK Jr. wanted to restrict guns. See, this is the thing that you got to understand. This is the way I'm thinking about this. And I've been as critical as RFK Jr. of RFK Jr. as anybody else. But here's what you have to understand. Trump's the one who's in charge, and the people that he hires don't have to oversee projects which he disagrees with them on, right? So in terms of what you would do with a Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is you would have them in charge of free speech or something like that, or like, the vaccine, going after the people who instituted the vaccine mandates, right, in the federal government. That's a good job for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., but don't put him in charge, just don't put him in charge of the ATF. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know where to put your best people in what role. And, that is going to be tested with me and my new podcasts that I'm producing this fall. Austin, way to plug it. Because they're going to be here. King Libertarian and Brian Piotr are going to be here in like 12 minutes, guys. So you'll see the extent of my leadership capabilities with how well that podcast is done. Because you know what? Like Harry S. Truman, my fellow Missourian, said, the buck stops here, right? Did I choose the right guys and put them in the right roles? I guess we'll see. A lot of pressure on there if you're listening, King Libertarian Brian Piotr. I hope you are. Sure you are. So with what Nicole Shanahan is saying here, if it becomes something where Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is offered some slot in the administration, I think I'm comfortable with that, provided he's working in the areas where he's expanding liberty and not reducing it. And that's really the thing, because if I were to put together an administration myself, I did run for president, remember, you have to think about these things. You would use people's expertise and those ideas that you agree with them on and put them in a position or a role where they can have the most impact for the ideals and the principles that we're fighting for, economic freedom and personal liberty. But, you may have someone, let's say that they're a total neocon when it comes to war and military spending. Well, if you didn't have anybody who was good enough in another sector, let's say that they were working on economic policy or trade policy or something like that, you wouldn't put them as the head of the Pentagon, right? But if they could be working on trade policy and they were for free trade and for the liberalization of trade between nations, then that might be the position that you want to put them in, because their views on foreign policy are negated because they have no power in such a way. Does that make sense? Like, this is how I used to think about things when I fantasized about my, second place in the libertarian primary. You know what I'm saying? You think about this. How would I put together administration in mind? I will win game. The arrogance, the ego, the hubris. It's Austin Peterson. It's the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, AP, and we have a lot of fun here. If today's the first time that you're watching us, you're in the right place if you got a sense of humor, right? If you don't mind talking about serious subjects while also every once in a while just having your funny bone tickled, you're in the right place. It's the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, AP. Thank you for this applause. Why don't you click the like button? But if today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, then you might need to click the follow button as well, so that you can come back and join us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's the Wake Up America show live. So a 2-hour live talk show. We have a text line. You can text me at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. That's the text line. We hope that we can turn you into a regular guest of the Wake Up America show. Okay, so we've got a few more minutes left. Do we want to continue that Nicole Shanahan thing, or let's see? This is a quick one. JD Vance was asked about the possibility of RFK Jr. endorsing him. Something interesting happened in the middle of this broadcast of this interview that ABC was doing with JD Vance. Quite curious. Watch this.
So I don't know if those reports are true, but I would certainly welcome his endorsement. I mean, I grew up in a family. I was raised by my poor grandmother who didn't have a high school diploma, but
looks like we just lost Senator J.D. Vance.
What? Sure you did. All right. Allow me to speculate rampantly. As someone who's worked in cable television news, stuff like that, it has to be a rare event for something like that. Do feeds go down sometimes randomly? Does it happen? Yes, but there are so many backups on backups to ensure that things like that don't happen that I'm going down the RFK Jr. Alex Jones conspiratard one on this one. I didn't want to hear that. Anyway, watch it one more time. You know, just as he's saying the kind of thing that might appeal to Democratic voters who are tuning in to watch the convention coverage, I hear from JD Vance, he's looking all handsome and he's talking about his background, you know, in Appalachian.
So I don't know if those reports are true, but I would certainly welcome his endorsement. I mean, I grew up in a family. I was raised by my poor grandmother who didn't have a high school diploma, but
Looks like we just lost Senator J.D. Vance.
Who just lost Senator J.D. Vance. Yes. So, you know. Oh, in your daily stupid, a woman entices tiger. A New Jersey gal decided to jump over a fence. This is completely random, and I don't care because I laugh. A woman jumped the fence to put her hand through the steel fence in the tiger enclosure in a New Jersey zoo. What do you think is going to happen? It's a tiger and shit. Tiger nearly bit a woman? No, I'm pretty sure it bit a. According to USA Today is always like wrong. If it's the USA Today, it's wrong. So they don't show it here. Entices. Yeah, here she goes. Entices. Oh, they cut the clip. Oh, yeah. See, that's just stupid. Wait, hold on one second. Let me find the Tiger, New Jersey. See if I can find it for you guys. Let's find the unedited, the stupid USA Today clip. Oh, I'm not pulling up any local news. I want to see the raw. I want to see a raw video. Look, oh, stop shooting. Here we go. There's the clip. Okay, watch this. Watch her hand get bitten. Yeah. Team Tiger. There it goes. She sticks her hand through right there. Chomp. Ow! Girl, about bit my hand off. I'm doing the AOC accent. There it is. Hold on. Here we go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a New Jerseyan by her toe. If she hollers, don't let her go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Couldn't help myself. I just need you to watch this clip without my commentary first and I want you to just think what I'm thinking, okay? I want you to watch this clip from the DNC last night. You have to look at it. If you're listening to the audio version later, it's not going to have the same impact. But I need you to look at this and I would need you to use telekinesis or be a telepath. Use your psychic powers if you have them. Pull out the tarot deck. And I want you to divine my commentary on this clip, okay? I want you to tell me what I'm thinking when I watch this clip of this woman giving her announcement at the DNC Watch.
As the saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So Gen Z.
Do you know what I'm thinking right now? Don't even need to say it. They picked the fattest person they could to deliver the line. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Well, with her, looks like we're all on the menu, to be quite honest. Is she gonna eat me? She's gonna eat me. Pumbaa. When I was a young warthog, she found her aroma lacked a certain appeal. She could clear the savannah after every meal. She's a sensitive soul, though she seems thick-skinned. And it hurts because her friends never stand downwind. And oh,
As the saying goes,
shame.
if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So
Thought of changing my name, and she gets downhearted. How does it feel every time that she Pumbaa? Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. It's the boys. They're back in town. Coming up next, the King Libertarian, King of us all, Brian Piotr, joining us with a big announcement to talk about that RFK endorsement as well as the worms at the DNC convention. Don't you dare leave. Stick around. We'll be right back. It's the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to wake up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom
with Adams's patriotic perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Yeah, that's right, the For Liberty Network. What do you mean you never heard of the For Liberty Network? Oh, well, it's because I just founded it, and we haven't really gotten the network all together yet. Well, behind the scenes, some plans have been afoot. Lots more exciting news to come. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. might endorse Donald Trump for President of the United States. Will they be on the same team? Super friends, one might call them. Would Robert F. Kennedy Jr. get a spot on Donald Trump's cabinet? Or will he stab everybody in the back and endorse Kamala Harris? Or just take his ball and go home? You know, I'm going to need a couple of experts to come in and bat this ball back and forth with me. Two gentlemen with a big announcement joining us live here on the Wake Up America show. It's very early for them, so please be nice. Brian Piotr and the king of all libertarians joining us live. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Glad to have you here. I notice that you guys have some interesting backgrounds there. Brian, would you like to make your announcement?
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name's Brian Piotr. I'm a very conservative, social, and economic libertarian and co-host of a new show on the For Liberty Network called Liberty Tonight. And we're aiming to fill a niche that we don't see in the market. And that is the lefties have a daily show, or whatever you want to call it, Colbert Report, the Tonight Show. And the righties don't really have one at all. And so we're trying to fill a niche of something in the middle where it's a libertarian entertainment show with both beautiful people, but also beautiful ideas, which would be new.
There we go.
And so I'd like to introduce my co-host too.
Yeah, let's hear it from the weird looking dude underneath you there. He looks like, is that a Burger King crown or what is going on? The king, I better be careful how I speak because he is the king of all libertarians. Good morning, King Libertarian. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. And yes, our goal, as Brian said, is to not only prove that the left can't meme, but the left also cannot do a late night daily show as well as we can. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get out there and really show what we can do for the community. But overall, we're here to have fun. We're here to poke jokes and give a perspective from the libertarian side that isn't seen today.
Great, guys. Well, we're really excited about it. And Liberty Tonight, it's a great sound, great name for a show. Looking forward to hearing more from you guys about that. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But let's hit the news. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says that he has a big announcement to make. He's appearing with Trump at a rally on Friday. I mean, come on, Brian. I mean, we kind of know what's coming, right? What's your take?
Well, I got to see RFK live speak to us at the Libertarian National Convention. And he really played to the crowd perfectly. He knows what libertarian values are and where he aligns with us. There's a long list of things. He's obviously not a libertarian. There's a whole other side of him that's very authoritarian, where he has the desire to use the administrative state to go after companies. But on at least half his ideals, he's very libertarian. So I'm totally supportive of creating this coalition of RFK supporters, Trump supporters, libertarians. We don't agree on several issues, but overall, we're very much anti-state and anti-establishment. the party of George Bush and Barack Obama and Kamala Harris. We all agree that we don't like that, and we can work together to actually overcome the giant swamp that is in the DC area.
So how about
So
you,
100% support it.
Yeah, King Libertarian, what's your take on this, man? It sounds like maybe the brainworms didn't get every ounce of gray matter up in RFK's noggin.
Oh, definitely not. And, we really need to discuss who's really cracking the whip here, and that's someone named Shanahan. But apart from that, what we really need to get down to is what's the affinity with Kennedys and people being shot in the face. Like that's where is this this is the real coalition that we need to get a part of. But no, to Brian's point, I think it's a good idea. I think that you look at the propaganda machine that's come behind Kamala in the past just week, and you see the polls just exponentially moving and $1 billion raised. This is I think he's seeing that it's one side versus the other, and it's not Democrat versus Republican, it's not left versus right, it's establishment control freaks versus the rest of us. And you think of Joe Rogan, you think of all these folks that have been on the fence, or maybe not super political, Elon Musk. I mean, Elon, RFK, Trump, that's a hell of a combo to come against. So there's really power brokers in the system. Whether Elon wants to take over the whole system to be the new autocrat or not, that's to be seen. But it's really this election cycle couldn't get any crazier, and this is just continuing this on.
It's kind of like the island of misfit toys over at Trump camp, right? Like, that's because I don't fit in, right? It's for all the misfits and freaks. Brian, you were the guy at the Libertarian National Convention this year who you saw Trump speak, and I believe you were the only person to actually nominate him to run for president. He'd asked for it. You did it. The rest of the Libertarian Party was like, no, we're going to go with this weird guy who wants to trans the kids. And now they're just completely irrelevant. If they had listened to you, Brian, if they had nominated Donald Trump as their presidential candidate right now, they'd be on the winning team. But that, that's neither here nor there. But do you kind of see it this way, Brian, that this is sort of maybe a coalition of the willing, to use a term, but we all sort of like you said, we don't necessarily agree with each other on a lot of things. There's a lot of fundamental agreements that are uniting the Trump coalition.
Yes, firmly in the Trump coalition, at least half the Libertarian Party. I'd like to invite that weirdo Libertarian candidate to come join us. Drop the act. You're not an alternative. This isn't the election for you. Let's all get in behind the Trump campaign. If RFK is doing it, Chase, you probably aren't listening, but you could do it too. Just drop out, endorse Trump. Maybe you could get that cabinet position. This is your opportunity to turn your 30 seconds of fame in. Let's get in on the Trump campaign and go change DC, or at least do our best. This is the tsunami that's coming for the swamp is the biggest one that we can put together this year in the last 100 years. Let's overturn everything we can and take all the momentum we can and reduce the size of the state. We won't get another big opportunity like this for a long time. And I'm not saying we'll be successful 100%, but we can turn the direction around from growing to reducing the size of government.
King Libertarian, how do you see this battlefield shaping up? Any potential predictions, pitfalls, things that we should be looking out for? What's on your mind regarding the bigger picture of this fall's election?
Monkeypox.
If you got a case, King, you might want to go check it out, brother, man. I don't know about
that. I think the Libertarian Party and Chase campaign and the Democrat Party are in the race to see who can get infected the first and the most. That's really where it comes down to. So Brian, I love the enthusiasm, but it's monkeypox or go for the other side.
Yeah, people keep bringing up monkeypox to me, and I don't know a lot about monkeypox, so forgive my ignorant ass for this statement. But I mean, aren't you safe from monkeypox if you're not having lots of anal sex with men?
Brian, is that you?
Can we get a doctor in the house?
I'm a Christian and father of four. I'm in no risk of any kind of diseases on a daily basis. It's great.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Well, Dill, you don't have to make any admissions or anything, King Libertarian, about how you know about more about monkeypox than the rest of us. But are you trying to say essentially that, a plague on both their houses, a plague on one of their houses, or just, we need a new plague? What are you trying to say?
You know, yes. Whether it be monkeypox or the case of the misfit, it's monkeypox versus misfit toys, and we got JD Vance the Care Bear, and RFK's the toy with the broken voice box, and yeah, it's a circus of weird, and we just got to embrace it at this point. And if the apocalypse comes, we went out with a fight. So this is great.
Is it apocalypse now in your mind, Brian? Or a lot of right wingers right now are very, excuse me, they're very worried about Trump's chances. They see this Kamala surge completely manufactured by the media, and RFK Jr. might help him in some battleground states, but who knows if it can actually get him over the top. Do you kind of share the fear that's going around? Are you sort of like are you pee-peeing in your pants like everybody else is on the right?
I go back and forth on being white pilled or black pilled on a daily basis. I take solace in the fact that the Democrats are mostly limited to 100% turnout in all of their cities, in all of their controlled counties. They can't turn in a 200% turnout in Philadelphia without some major civil war problems. So we have to overcome 100% turnout. Obviously, 100% of people are going to vote in Philadelphia. So we have to come up with enough votes to overcome that number. They can't cheat 65%. They're limited to whatever that is in each given state, call it 3 or 4%. And you don't even have to say cheating. They're just going to legitimately turn out 100% of all registered voters in Milwaukee and Philadelphia and Atlanta. And that's the number to beat, which I think we can do this with this coalition, RFK voters, libertarians, Republicans. But you can't assume Trump's going to win. It's going to be a fight. Their machine is going to work to full capacity, and it's well funded, but it can be overcome. I do think that the Republicans, and who cares about the Republicans? I think Trump can win. They call him a Republican, but he really took over the party and took it away from the establishment. He can win this year, but it won't be easy. We need really, really good turnout in the swing states.
King Libertarian, question for you: if Kamala Harris and Donald Trump were animals, what kind of animals would they be, and why?
So Kamala would definitely be the hyena, right? I mean, that laugh
Yeah,
is just,
yes.
that laugh
Perfect.
is just off the wall. And Trump, he would be I don't even know, like a hippopotamus. He's chilling below the water, and then he's smooth and steady, and then he's unassuming. But if you come up on him, he's gonna open that big mouth and then come chomping down on you. But it seems like 2016 Trump and 2024 Trump totally different. In 2016 Trump, he was a tiger, he was a lion, he was going after it. But this one, I think he's being way more strategic, and he's baiting people in. And look at what he did to Biden on that stage, the CNN debate. He didn't want to go through all those rules, but he noticed the rules, and then he used that to his advantage. He let Biden speak. I mean, he had to let Biden speak, but letting Biden speak ended up being the best thing in that scenario. I didn't even know what you just said. Whatever. Anyway, like he completely dismissed Biden instead of trying to fight him one for one. So Trump the hippo and Kamala the hyena.
Not bad. Kamala the hyena, I think, is perfect. I would have also accepted Honey Badger for Donald Trump, because Honey Badger don't care. Honey Badger don't give a shit. Right? Very Badger-like behavior from Donald Trump as well. I think as sort of maybe, I don't know, stereotypical as that might be, I do see Trump as kind of like a lion, right? Like king of the forest kind of stuff. But yeah, I think hippopotamus is also good. Like he looks calm and cool under the water, but then he's gigantic and he's terrifying if you roll up on him. Not a bad response from King Libertarian. Brian, any theories as to the maggot problem at the Democratic convention? Any idea on this story that apparently some people at the DNC were eating maggot-filled food?
I'd say that that's just situation normal for Democrats. And a lot of people have commented on how ugly Democrats are. And I just want to say that there are beautiful people there. They're just hidden under hundreds and hundreds of pounds of fat. And if they just stopped eating the bugs, they ate clean meat, they could be beautiful too, and then come over to our side of the aisle. That's really the problem here, is that, you eat too much crap, processed crap, you have to end up being a soy boy or a Democrat. And if we could just change their diet, we could change their politics.
Yeah,
Stop eating the bugs, eat some
you would
steak.
say, excuse me, no, I think they really did they really did kind of like that headline couldn't have been written by anyone better. Maybe the Babylon Bee, because here they want us to live in the pod and eat the bugs, and then we find that their food is encrusted with maggots. So they're at least they're following through on their principles. King Libertarian,
Yeah.
any comments on the maggots?
Yeah, I have an inside scoop here from a law enforcement source. It's going to come out that the fly that laid these larvae was previously known to law enforcement. So they will be finding this fly very shortly, and I think the people in the Democrat Party, the FBI, they're really being hypocrites here, because they have no problem aborting human babies, but when it comes to fly babies and getting rid of them, like, whoa,
They're just
here's the
clumps of
issue.
cells,
So
King. They're
yeah,
just clumps of cells.
yeah, it's not a real fly baby. Until it hatches into a beautiful fly.
Brian, we're coming up towards the end of the segment. I've got a clip of CNN's Dana Bash talking about, why they brought in Tim Waltz to be like the sports whisperer, and she kind of sort of admitted that the Democrats are kind of soy boys, right? So they're desperate to kind of like get somebody in to tell them about how sports work or to talk about sports to the men that they're trying to get to vote for the Democratic Party. But do you think it's telling that the Democrats really have to have some kind of a strategy to get men with normal testosterone levels to vote for them? Or
I don't think that their strategy involves trying to campaign to men at all. That the electorate is a majority women, and their turnout is uneducated voters. So don't try to make an educational argument to try to get votes from men. I don't think that they'll get any. It's a waste of time. Same thing as if we as Republicans, we're not going to try to get the votes of illegal immigrants or prison inmates. That's the Democrat base. We're not going to go after them. So I'm
what are you
sure they've
talking about? Donald
sacrificed.
Trump's a felon. There's a lot of black people who came out and said that they support him for that reason, right? Or at least that's what the Democrats were saying. King, what about you? You have a take on this one? Soy boys at the Democratic Party.
Yeah, it's a mistake to directly message to these men, saying you want to go after emotional men or empathetic men. Really, you should be marketing to women who identify as hot wives. Like, just cut out the middleman, literally put him in the corner where he belongs with a video camera, and just talk directly to the women that want a bull on a Friday night.
There it is, King Libertarian and Brian Piotr. Gentlemen, anything else that you have to say? Speak now, forever hold your peace, Brian.
Oh, I would love to add that we're going to be an evening show, if that wasn't obvious, and so you will be able to watch all the shows on this network without having to make choices. You'll be able to watch us all.
You'll be able to watch all of the For Liberty Network live shows because we will all be at different times during the day. Liberty Tonight, obviously, will be a tonight type of show, so it'll be at night. Brian Piotr, King Libertarian. Any other words? Any final words from you, sir?
At King Libertarian on X, Brian Piotr on X. Give us a follow, and yeah, looking forward to the late night show.
There we go. Can't wait to see you guys this fall on Liberty Tonight on the For Liberty Network. You guys take care. We'll see you real soon, okay? Thanks very much. Let's give him a round of applause. What say you? Very excited for the shows. Can't wait to see what they have in store for you guys. It's Liberty Tonight, starring King Libertarian. Dun, dun, dun. Right, the saxophone's blaring, right? And it's like Brian Piotr and the Artificial Intelligence Band. Dun, dun, dun. LW78, he donated $5 and says, because I love this Dana Bash clip so much. Oh, how much do you love it? This clip of Dana Bash talking about soy boys of the Democratic Party. Soy boys, the DNC. They seem to be aware of the problem, but they don't quite know how to fix it. Take a look and listen.
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out at the RNC, or might want to listen to that, but also, in addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. And that's something that they really are trying to work on.
Oh, Jesus. So Democrats are trying to speak to men who may not be the testosterone-laden, gun-toting type of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan, and understand in 2024 that it's okay to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. Well,
okay, I can first.
Ladies, Dana Bash, leftist ladies, liberal women out there, if there's any of you and you're listening to me right now, it's our whole lives we're told, so you can't understand women. All the jokes were, you can't understand women. Why don't you understand us? The type of who might not be the testosterone. You hate those kind of men. You hate those types of men. The men who are not testosterone laden, who don't carry guns, who don't listen to Hulk Hogan. All right. And understand in 2024, it's okay to be a man comfortable in his own skin and sorts of women. Those are the type of men who are wearing dresses. You don't want these men. You don't like these men. You don't respect these men. These are the weak men who are creating the hard times. Doug Emhoff, Tim Walz, and others. These are the weak men who are creating the hard times. But this is why these women, like Dana Bash and others, this is why they are liberal females, is because they have been immune to the repercussions of the world that they are creating for the poor and the middle class, where they have taken the strong men out of society and knocked them from their perch, and they have lifted up these weak men that they talk about to serve as replacements, and they have found that they are very poor replacements indeed. But they think that they can win a war with those men. You can't win a war with those men. Those men can't protect you, ladies. And I know I'm speaking to your deepest super ego. I'm speaking to the lowest of your lizard brain when I tell you right now that you place yourself in terrible danger, mortal, physical, and total existential danger when you place men who are not gun-toting, who are not testosterone-laden, and who are the type of men who are comfortable in their own skin and support a women. They are not the type of men who will be able to protect you when the real shit hits the fan. Let's talk to Camelia Peterson here in 5 minutes. What say you? Men who are afraid of their wives. Yes, that's the targeted demographic. It's nice to see people like Urs Mommy and Courtney Conover in the chat chatting, and Floby Tenderson and L Dubs. What's up, L Dubs? Yuma N-word. Courtney, I love to see you in the chat. You're always there first thing in the morning. It's one of our new super friends on the team. So glad you're here. Mighty Megatron as well is naming names here for the soy boys of the left, saying, man bun, Birkenstock wearing, 100-pound body having cucks. Very true. What's up, John Rail? Nice to see you guys. I love hanging out with the chat. in the mornings. In the morning. Isn't that great? Getting up morning. We're all hanging out. Has everyone clicked the like button yet? I think many of you have. Some of you have not. Burn Slots asking the real questions. L-Dubs says, you my N-word too, often, LMAO. And I think he meant to say Austin. True. You my N-word. Sidewalk Close says, good show so far. Thank you. Glad you guys enjoyed. I pulled a million billion clips, but this one of Dana Bash is worthy of a replay, and we'll have Camellia respond to it. I'm sure she's listening now, and we'll talk to her about the forgotten generation. But listen to the Democrats as they talk about their inability to speak to men like me.
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out at the RNC, or might want to listen to that, but also, in addition, understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man.
It's okay to like Hulk Hogan and be gay out there. You know what I'm saying? You can be bisexual and still like Hulk Hogan or his body, but also vote for the Democrats, right? It's time to hear from Camellia on this, honestly. Quit pussyfooting around, AP. Get to the real meat of the show. Camellia Peterson starts Thirsty Thursday live in 5. The bonus content has yet to be unlocked on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
The Cantina crew, this is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government. Get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. We're glad to have you here today on Thursday, kicking off Thirsty Thursday on the Wake Up America show. And that means that Camelia Peterson is joining us live on the show. Good morning, CJ. Nice to see you today. How are you feeling?
Good morning. Good. Like if we had bumper music, we'd be coming into Macho Man, right?
I want to be a macho man. Ironically from Village People, right? So, yeah, soy boys at the Democratic Convention. You were having trouble kind of sussing out what Dana Bash was saying there in that CNN clip.
Yeah, so I ran it back. I'm like, what is her point here? So, I mean, and I get that, they're trying to appeal to the men who are not necessarily in that macho man, sort of demographic, right? But my first thought was, what about those suburban women that everybody always talks about getting the suburban women vote, right? I mean, because we all know that the suburban women secretly want the macho men, but then it's like the dilemma, like how do you get the vote of the suburban women who secretly want the macho men, but also get, the men who are being more feminine because they want the suburban feminist white women.
Well, here's the thing. They want to have offspring with the macho man, but they want the beta male to be the provider because he's more likely to stick around and help to raise the kids, right? So they kind of want it both ways. The Democratic Party females, the leftist women, they want to have kids with the square-jawed Chad, but they don't want him in charge of politics because he will vote Republican every single time. So if she wants to be in charge, she needs a male that she can lord over, tell him what to do, and force him.
I suppose I would like for everybody to be assured that there are men who are in the middle of those two things.
Right. That have the best of both?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Where are they?
There is hope yet, right? I know we're all asking.
Exactly. Yeah. They're out there. Oh, I don't think so, Camelia. They're not out there. But, the big picture on this one is that the left seems to understand that they do have a problem with the fact that their men are not men.
I mean, It does seem that way. I honestly think that that is a reflection of the elevation of, hyperfeminism on the
Mhm.
left. And the response to that is they are going to attract men who, are in line with that, and they are just not going to behave the same as, it's a different dynamic.
Okay, so you don't have any more insults for the soy boys of the Democratic Party then?
Well, some of us have to be the diplomats, right?
Oh, please. All right.
That's my
Well
cop
then,
out now.
yes. What did you think? What did you think of the fact that it was just the other day that you brought up on this show on Tuesday that you thought of Generation X as a forgotten generation? We were talking about, millennials, and they were kind of understanding how boomers were feeling. And then the next day, this article appears in the Wall Street Journal, why Gen X is the forgotten generation. Did you manifest that, Camelia? Oh no, she froze. That's so annoying. Boo,
No,
boo.
God! No, God, please, no!
Man, that was such a
No!
great setup
No!
for my next question. All right, well, what does this mean that I have to do? Okay, so how about I'll do this. I'll end the meeting for all very briefly, and then I will send Camelia another invitation, and hopefully we'll get her back on the show. Okay, so how do I sort of stall for time when something like this happens? Well, what I do is I go back to the rundown that I create every single day for the Wake Up America show. There's Camelia. And I pull up the article as Generation X approaches retirement, and I read from it. Reality still bites. The forgotten generation, born between 1965 and 1980, launched their careers at the start of a massive shift in how Americans work. Camelia Peterson, back with us live. Hey, CJ, did you manifest this article?
Yeah, it almost seems like it, right? But it's almost like it's a feeling common to all Gen Xers. And maybe we finally stopped being silent enough to actually speak up for ourselves. Maybe that's it.
Sure, but I mean, it is kind of funny though how culturally we do sort of avoid discussing Generation X. I mean, do you kind of feel left out, CJ?
I don't know. If you talk to most Gen Xers, we are very much also the generation of just leave us alone, right? Maybe that's why we're forgotten, because we've told everybody just leave us alone.
The oldest members of Gen X are turning 60 next year. Many can't afford to stop working anytime soon. Camelia, do you kind of look at like retirement and think, yeah, oh well, maybe the next life?
Yeah,
Because I sure
basically.
am.
Sure. I think there are no guarantees. And I mean, twofold from a very practical, what you need for income kind of way. Yeah, it's hard to see like there being a good stopping point, to just retire anymore with the economy the way it is. But also, I just think too that people who are more active are also going to live longer as well. But that's an aside from that. But yeah, it's like with the economy the way it is, it's hard to foresee, anybody ever stopping working at, say, the traditional age of 65 or whatever, society is, whatever the Social Security Department has told us it should be.
Yeah, it's sad because like the economy has sort of become almost like a lottery economy to some extent, where like yeah, there are some people who get rich, but a lot of it seems to come down to luck. There are absolutely hardworking, industrious Americans who lift themselves up by their bootstraps, but for the most part, like you see so many people spending so much money on the lottery, they really are that like most people just kind of like hope for some miracle, and a lot of conversation is being had about the wealth transfer from the boomers to their kids. And but some economists are actually saying they think that that might not be the case, that because when you watch Fox News, if you watch the commercials, almost every other commercial is for a reverse mortgage. So if that
Right.
money is going to get transferred, it's not going to be a generational transfer of wealth from the boomers to their Gen X or millennial kids. It's going to be a transfer of wealth from the boomers to the banks.
Sure. And, this article from the Wall Street Journal I thought was really interesting because it talks about how that, financial security for boomers was in their pensions, right? And those and companies doing pensions has largely been phased out, and now everybody does 401ks. And apparently, when in the advent of 401ks, they weren't necessarily meant to be everybody's retirement plan. But when you think about, I've thought about this so many times with the pension system. It's like, how did anybody ever think that that was going to be sustainable? Like, how can you promise everybody who works for you for a certain length of time? I don't know, maybe it's in the math and how many people actually work with you long enough to get that pension. But it's like you are guaranteeing that this company is always going to exist. And it doesn't seem tenable to me. It doesn't make sense.
Well, we're set
So
up to fail. We're designed to fail. I mean, think about this.
right.
How much more capable would we be of planning our retirement if 50% of everything that we earned during the year wasn't stolen from us? Right?
Well,
People don't understand. It's 50%, and for many of us, it's over 50% when you count in national all the way down to local taxes.
Agreed, but then the truth is we get into this dilemma that not everybody is going to invest into their retirement and their savings, and it's easy to say, well, consequences. But then whenever we get to where we have all of those people who have not planned and prepared, then we're faced with what to do with them. What does
Yeah.
homelessness look like? What does poverty look like? And so that society is going to want to fix that.
I sort of reject
So
the premise that it's okay to just say, "Oh, well, you should be responsible for yourself," because there's a lot of social pressure not to be that way, and the entire system is set up for to take care
sure.
of almost anyone for any reason, even people who are
Yes.
completely irresponsible. And,
Right.
and it's the problem, of course, too, is that the social engineering, the way that the tax system is socially engineered, is that it pits us against one another
Yes.
generation. We are pitted against one another because the interests of a young person in when it comes to social security are completely at odds with the interests of an old person. And like I know very rich people who don't need to collect social security, but they get very pissy when you suggest, yeah, if we want to save it, maybe we should give it to people who actually need it. They don't want that. And they have a right to kind of be pissed. They get the money back that was stolen from in the first place. I understand it, but nobody really has the balls to say maybe you should take care of yourself. Maybe you can take care of yourself to make those hard decisions that would require leadership. And all what we have virtue signalers on the right and soy boys on the left. Camellia.
And we've talked about this before, where one of the things that we are lacking right now is legacy thinking. And that is different than it used to be, say, even, 50, 75 years ago, where it used to be, and you see this in conversation in the news when you talk about, whether or not boomers are leaving their wealth to their children. And how many stories have we seen of various actors or whoever who are like, I'm not leaving anything to my kids, right? I'm going to use it and they need to work for themselves, right? So, but that's not always been the mindset. There's, way back in history, I mean, you go back to the Bible and you're talking about, inheritance was incredibly important, and who inherited that and what you got. I mean, so there was this assumption, this presumption that this is how you operated in life, was that you built up a legacy for your children, and that included a fiscal legacy. And so not everybody is able to do that, obviously, but it was something that was just part of the thought process and how you lived your life. And this goes back to me too, like I'm thinking about one of my really weaknesses is in like economic knowledge, as far as like the intricacies, especially now, of of investing and all of those kinds of things. And I wonder, well, I don't wonder, I know that one of the things that we desperately need in our education system right now is we need to be teaching our kids from grade school on up economics and how the monetary system works and how to invest and all of those things, because they wouldn't seem so overwhelming if they're getting those basics incrementally all throughout their schooling, I believe starting in grade school.
They call economics the dismal science. When you read up on it and study it, you can understand why. The funny thing about economics is that the reason why it's so difficult for some people to grasp is because people tend to have linear thought patterns, right? They love to see things in succession or in order. But economics can often be algebraic. Speaking as someone who's really rough on algebra, I will say that when it comes to decisions that are made, most people can only see what's above the surface, and there's frequently a tip of the iceberg problem. So, for example, people are all the time thinking that they're doing something that saves them money, right? They want to be extremely cheap. They want to be extremely cheap, and I love the TLC shows like Extreme Cheapscapes, and all that kind of stuff, where people like put bricks in their pool so that they don't use as much water, which is like ridiculous. Um, but like for example, if it costs if you could make $60 an hour and it costs $30 an hour to fix your roof, you're not saving money by not fixing your roof. You should work and make your $60 an hour and pay somebody else to fix
Right.
your roof. Those kinds of voluntary interactions are what the economy is built on. Most people are
Yes.
incapable of seeing that. It is the invisible hand that Adam Smith talked about, the invisible hand of the marketplace. And if more people understood economics, they might be able to think in less binary terms, less linearly, and that kind of probably is what makes libertarians more sensitive economically, is because we're kind of okay with chaos to some extent. Like we understand that like shifting markets and decisions that are being made by individuals will eventually lead to a form of order, that out of chaos, humans naturally align themselves into an order to create supply chains, et cetera, et cetera. But
Right.
you're right, though. The economics is the thing that people are missing in their education system. Anything else on that?
Well, I was just to say, and just to kind of put a plug in here for a resource on that for children, like I'm sure most of your listeners, viewers are familiar with the Tuttle twins. I hope so. If you're not, go look it up, especially if you have children. Connor Boyack and the Libertas Institute, they put out these books for children that are on these basic fundamental, liberty concepts, including the concepts of economics. And in fact, Tuttle Twins even has a curriculum now specifically on economics for kids. And it came out like after mine were kind of past that point. I was so bummed. Like the downside to being a homeschool mom is like, even when you don't, your kids are past that point, you're still looking at all this curriculum stuff and thinking, oh, that's really cool. I wish I had a kid that could use this.
Yeah.
So you get it for other people's kids.
Yeah, talk going back to the tax subject, that your generation, my generation, the things that we're dealing with right now, they're talking about this unrealized capital gains tax. And the way that they're trying to make it palatable to people is that on one hand they're explaining that this only kicks in if you make over $100 million a year, which okay, well, that's, of course, those are the ultra rich. Of course, 100 million, I don't, it's only going to affect a small amount of people. Let's go ahead and just put this tax on those rich people. And then the other way that they're selling it is that they're very snidely explaining to us that, why were you defending? Do you make over $100 million a year? Which is why I posted this X post this morning about all of the times that taxes that initially started on the rich became taxes on everyone. The federal income tax, perfect example. When it first started, only about 3% of the population was subject to the income tax. Now half the country pays income tax, and the rest of them sponge off the rest of us. There was the alternative minimum tax it wasn't initially indexed for inflation. So people don't understand that, like you were talking about these economic equations, you have to factor in that, we're all going to be 100 millionaires here soon if they keep printing money. You know what I mean?
Right. It's really it feeds into this jealousy, envy. They're pitting the classes against each other, but the bottom line is, the whole eat the rich thing. Okay, well, do you like the museums that you go to, and like all these institutes and different cultural venues? Like, where do you think those came from? Do you think somebody just, built those? The government did it? What? No, it is these wealthy people who have funded these institutions. And like that or not, like there are lots of things that we enjoy that those ultra wealthy people have made possible.
Do you feel when you look at, Generation X and they call it the forgotten generation, I mean, is there anything that you can point to as a rebuttal to this? I mean, perhaps great accomplishments, at least there were great films and there was good culture in the 1990s. Maybe 1990s were like the last great era of the United States before social media took over. How would you rebut being the forgotten generation?
Well, I think that Gen Xers have been like the steady line throughout everything, right? I mean, but I think part of the reason that they say that we're forgotten is partly due to that we've sort of bridge that gap between like the non-digital age and the digital age, right? So there are, we're used to being, there's a different mindset that goes along with that, in that, we're, more self-sufficient, I think, in a lot of ways, independent minded. But at the same time, we're still plugged in digitally, and so it's different than the generation before or the generations after. And so I think that, we're not necessarily in those people that are posting things all over Instagram and, are not, we don't necessarily use social media for influencing, because we're in between those two things. So, but, as far as, it does seem like I don't know why, but the joke was with the presidents and then the vice president that came up, as JD Vance was like, okay, so I guess we're not going to get a Gen X president or vice president, right? So much for that, whatever, whatever happened to Rand Paul and,
Yeah.
maybe that's it. Maybe it's because Gen X tends to be more liberty minded in a lot of ways. And, the liberty is not for the masses of people, it
You gonna
seems.
talk smack about millennials and liberty, Camellia? Boo, boo. Hey, real quick before I let you go, any thoughts on RFK Jr. Trump alliance, the ambiguously gay duo?
I just don't see how anything beneficial comes out of this, to be honest, because at this point, honestly, RFK looks desperate. And I don't know that Trump is going to really be inclined to give him something. Like, what advantage is there for Trump to put RFK in his cabinet at this point? Like, I just don't see it. I don't know that his voters at this point give him enough of a bump. I don't see the motivation there.
Wow, talk about doom and gloom. Black
Oh,
pill
sorry,
Camellia this
RFK.
morning.
Fucking
Realist.
Ah, yeah, realist. That's what they call it. Well, I know another realist. He calls himself a foreign policy realist. And coming up next, I'm going to speak about Rand Paul's argument about why censoring the internet won't protect kids. Camellia, anything else you want to share before we let you go?
No, just keep up the good work, everybody, and have a great day.
Camellia, thanks very much for your POV per usual. We always appreciate having Camellia Peterson on the show Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Central Time. If you like Camellia, come back on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I know you'll enjoy it. So we are $50 towards the $60 bonus content goal. We are so close. I can smell it. Our bonus content is a mini documentary that I produce every single day. And if we unlock it, then you get to watch that instead of commercials. But if we don't unlock it, then it goes away forever. And it will be the first time that we ever didn't hit the goal.
No!
Thanks to Er's mommy. She went to the For Liberty shop this morning and she made a generous purchase at the shop. And that helped to get us all the way up to $50 total so far, including the Rumble rants that we had, towards the $60 goal to unlock the bonus content. Don't you want to see it? Yes, you did. Er's mommy, you got yourself one. And we'll be sending that out to you ASAP. I fly one, and my neighbor was kind of like not happy about it, so I'm glad you got that flag. The pine tree flag is for some reason so triggering to leftists this year, which makes it the hottest flag of the political season. You can get your appeal to heaven pine tree flag at forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, forlibertyshop.com. We call it the grift shop because it's funny. Makes people laugh.
I can first.
So head on over to forlibertyshop.com and get in those Rumble rant donations, and you'll be able to watch the bonus content before the show's over, or it goes away forever, but don't panic. It's Thirsty Thursday. which means that Daniela Pensac will be joining us live in 5. What's she going to talk about? Rand Paul censoring the internet? Well, not Rand Paul. Fighting censoring the internet. And the home of the Tate brothers. Andrew and his brother raided in Romania. This time, they're serious. We'll talk about that when we get back on the For Liberty Network.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President, Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
George. Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great. Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Yes, it's a network. It's not just the Wake Up America show anymore. We've got 2 new podcasts coming this fall, and one of our podcast hosts, or I guess 2 of them, came and joined us this morning at 7:30 a.m. Central Time. I thought it'd be nice to debut our other podcast host with the name and title and theme of her brand new show. You know her as our Thirsty Thursday regular, Daniela Pensack, joining us bright and early this morning. Good morning, Daniela. Nice to see you again.
Good morning, Austin. I'm very excited to be here to talk about this announcement, among other things. I'm having a really good early morning here in the West Coast.
Right. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Would you like to let people know the title of your podcast and where we're taking it?
Yes, it will be called Culturama. And what I'll be talking about is American culture and how it's affecting Americans today, what's happening with culture, the cultural evolution and the American zeitgeist. I'm really excited to talk about it, have guests on. I'll be talking about some inconvenient statistics. I'm sure a lot of people will get a kick out of it.
That's great, Danielle. Now, when we put together your show, so for the other show, Liberty Tonight, it's kind of like, Saturday Night Live theme / Tonight Show kind of a deal. And it's kind of got that kind of a format. So I just pulled up the picture. It's got a kind of a 1950s style cartoon of you. So
Yes.
we're kind of going to be hearkening back to the good old days for that, with that kind of a retro theme, aren't we?
Yes, we are. The aesthetic is definitely going to be Americana. Back when America was truly great, make America great again, right? I'm kidding. But I really do like the aesthetic. I think it fits me and suits me well. I also think a lot of people wish to experience that again, so it will be a lot of fun to harken back to it.
Awesome. So coming this fall, 2 new shows on the For Liberty Network, not just the Wake Up America show, but Liberty Tonight, starring Brian Piotr and King Libertarian, and Daniela Pensack's own show, Culturama. She will be starring in her own show this fall. Congratulations, Daniela.
Thank you.
And
I'm
we
really
can't-
excited. It's going to be really fun.
I am too. I think it's going to be huge, Danielle, and I know that the audience is really going to love you. And I know that the people who are tuning into the Wake Up America show right now are definitely going to want to see your new show, Culturama, and we'll be making more announcements about where they can watch and when they can watch very soon. Let's talk about the news, Daniela. You came to me yesterday with this story about the Tate brothers, Andrew and his brother Tristan Tate, being raided in Romania. There's a lot of conversations happening right now about protecting kids online. They're accused of committing the kinds of crimes that Senator Rand Paul is sort of trying to block the laws here in the United States that are aimed at protecting children, which I think this is kind of fascinating. Senator Rand Paul wrote an op-ed in Reason magazine trying to stop a law that is aimed at protecting kids. When you first hear something like this, or like the name of a bill, the Protect Kids Online Act, how could you oppose something like that? So why does Rand Paul oppose it?
Yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of bills like this is that they kind of they have these titles like the kids. It's called the Kids Online Safety Act, and you think, well, everyone has to support it, and it is indeed a bipartisan bill. It was proposed as a bipartisan bill, but when you look at the details of it, there's a lot of issues with it as it concerns the First Amendment. And so essentially what this bill is that it places undue censorship on the First Amendment. It's designed to protect kids from, and its main aims is to protect kids from anxiety and to mitigate eating disorders. And so what this is that it places the duty of care on social media providers. And so they have to censor what is deemed as dangerous material that would cause anxiety and eating disorders, among other things, online. And this places discretion solely on attorney generals and the Federal Trade Commission. Now, I mean, that sounds like it has noble aims, but really it doesn't. There's a lot of question, for instance, about what is considered dangerous material, especially as it pertains to something like anxiety, because virtually anything could cause anxiety. Additionally, because it is a bipartisan bill, there's a lot of disagreement on like some more political elements of what is considered dangerous. Like, for instance, trans, if it's a pro-trans content or anti-trans content, pro-abortion, anti-abortion. There's a lot of it's very nebulous, and there's a lot of ideological difference on what is considered dangerous. But like I'd mentioned, most of all, it has a lot of censorship. It places a lot of censorship on the First Amendment. And really, what I think it does is that it takes discretion from parents, and from parents' responsibility to really protect their kids and teach their kids media literacy. And again, like I said, it places the discretion on the Attorney General and the Federal Trade Commission. It'll be outside of congressional oversight to determine what exactly is considered dangerous material. And so Rand Paul made this appeal to this, saying that, look, even though this is important to protect kids, we have to be speculative of what the content of the policy actually is and how it's going to affect First Amendment rights.
Yeah, we always harken back to Nancy Pelosi's famous statement, we have to pass the bill to find out what's in it. And certainly
Right.
I'm sure they would love to take this approach when it comes to passing this bill. I'm sure it's hard to vote against bills that have such names as, Protecting Kids Online from
Yeah.
Predators Act or something like that, and go back home and tell people why you voted against it. It's really hard to stand up for liberty and privacy these days. What's your personal take on this, Daniela?
Well, I agree with Senator Rand Paul, and I think that there's many ways. Obviously, there's a lot of dangers with kids and social media. Especially with the Facebook stuff that happened years ago. Clearly, there is a correlation. I won't deny that there is a direct correlation between heavy internet usage and mental health issues. That's obvious. But again, I think that this is more of a question of personal liberty and the dangers of having personal liberty, and if you're willing to take that risk, if you're willing to risk your health for having that liberty and that personal freedom. And so again, I think that relying on bills like this, and especially when you name it like that, like the Kids Online Safety Act, like they designed that bill, so if you vote against it, it makes you look bad on your record as a legislator, but that's beside the point. Like I stated, it just places more authority over your kids on the government, or it gives it over to the government. um we are we are taking away parental discretion by imposing bills like this. We are taking away the discretion of the kids themselves. And without offering, for instance, we could have more media literacy courses in schools, depending on who teaches it. We're basically saying that kids should have no involvement in their kid, or parents should have no involvement in their kids' lives. And there's ways around this. Like you could also have a child's phone registered with the parent for a certain amount of time, and it's up to the parent's discretion when they want to unregister the phone or the kid's laptop. There's two-factor authentication models that we could rely on to prevent kids from accessing certain material. And again, I really think that this is a question of how involved do we want parents in their kids' lives. And I think a bill like this is also a step forward. It's dual. It's a step forward in taking away parental involvement in children's lives, and it also just is aiming to place more censorship on our First Amendment rights.
We're speaking to Daniela Pensack. She is the host of the Culturama podcast on the For Liberty Network coming this fall. We're discussing online privacy bills that are being proposed in Congress and opposed by Senators Rand Paul and others who care about privacy and limited government and who have concerns about this kind of legislation. Daniela, you initially brought the story to my desk regarding and the story of Andrew Tate and his brother being raided in Romania, and
Yeah.
the allegations that are being made against them are that they committed the kinds of crimes that legislation like this is supposed to help prevent, correct?
Yes, on Wednesday they were raided yet again by Romanian officials, and there's details are yet to come out more about what exactly were the causes. But Andrew Tate's spokesperson had stated that it's because more allegations of human trafficking had come up, as well as money embezzlement. So Once again, Andrew Tate accused of human trafficking, more news at 11. Like I there's nothing much I can say about that. But and he is still suggesting that this is just a political conspiracy to silence him. Whatever you think about that, that's your opinion. But yeah, there are a lot of predators out there, obviously, targeting kids online and very
Well,
impressionable
can I
people online.
let me just pause you for just a moment because I don't know much about Andrew
Hmm.
or Tristan. I know just a little bit from what I read online. I don't get too caught up in personalities or like the intimate details of their lives, other than what I need to know to be able to report on it as accurately as possible. But it's Jon Stewart had this joke when he went on Stephen Colbert during the pandemic. And the joke was about the Wuhan viral lab and the location of the origin of the pandemic. And Stewart was poking fun when it wasn't politically correct on the left to do so yet, poking fun at the idea that people would be surprised that, oh, this virus just happened to come from nearby where this coronavirus research lab is. Oh no, what actually happened? Oh, a pangolin kissed a turtle, right? So it's kind of like it's sort of analogous when I look at, Andrew Tate. His background is, I won't say sex trafficking, right? Until you're convicted in a court of law or something like that, a serious allegation for sure. But I mean, his whole thing was to bring cam girls in, and he talks about how he scammed men out of cash.
Yeah.
That's his whole history and his background. So I mean, the idea that it's ludicrous to think that maybe one of those girls that snuck in there one time or two or three might have been underage doesn't strike me as ludicrous. Also, the fact is that in Romania, the age of consent is something like 16, right?
Yes, and yeah, at this point, anyone who continues to defend Andrew Tate or think that this is all a political conspiracy, frankly, I question their IQ. Because yeah, if you just briefly look at his background, and again, I'm not an expert on Andrew Tate either, and but I know I've heard and I've read things here and there, and his reputation is just rife with things like this. And yes, he himself has basically come out and said and promoted basically something like human trafficking and predation on impressionable women. I mean, he specifically talks about targeting impressionable women. So I am not surprised again that this news has come out. And um yeah, people who continue to defend him, although I am seeing less and less, I think more people are finally like getting the idea. It's like a running joke at this point. But for the last remaining few that still defend his honor, God be with them. I just hope they maybe grow up at some point, maybe have an IQ level raised 1 or 2 points, and but that's my opinion. Again, I'm not saying the guy's guilty. He's still awaiting the trial
It's
for
not
his charges.
ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to think that a person
Right.
whose background was in something, I mean, at least tangentially related to sex trafficking, might have been involved with, you know, uh, putting minors into situations. And I mean, I
Oh
guess
yeah.
when we talk about minors, if it's 16, if that's the legal age of consent in Romania, we may disagree with it, but it wouldn't be a violation of the law, at least where he's at, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Romania, again, it's not like the United States. It is, I suppose, technically a Western country, but it's by no means an advanced country like Canada or the United States. So I would presume, and I'm not an expert on Romanian laws as it pertains to like age of consent and sex and all that, but if you just look at their culture, like let's be real, I don't think it's the most advanced culture when it comes to these things. So even taking Romanian officials taking this guy really seriously, I think is a big red flag. I mean, and in fact, if I recall correctly, I believe that Andrew Tate actually stated that he moved to Romania. One of the main reasons was that he wanted to be able to rape women, or don't quote me on this, but he did say that it was for to get access to women, like
Younger
more
women.
impressionable women or younger women. Yeah, it was, but I do think he specifically mentioned rape laws though. Like he said, they had really lax rape laws. So
And the
yeah, and
thing is
apparently
too,
even they don't want him.
who is the president of Romania at the time, right at the
Oh,
moment? Is it Victor
that's
Orban? No, it's
not
Hungary. Hungary.
that's
Okay.
Hungary. Yeah. Yeah,
Hungary.
I wouldn't know
Okay. Yeah.
Romania.
Yeah. Because I'm just trying to understand a little bit more about the politics of Romania and, Romanian Prime Minister, Mr. President, who's in charge in Romania, the heads of government. Well, that's, of course, we all remember Ceausescu from back in the day. Um, the current heads of state. I'm trying to understand, could there be a political angle to this from the Romanian government, right? They don't like what Andrew Tate is saying or doing, and they're trying
Right.
to shut him. He's got a lot of money. They want to seize his assets, perhaps, right? I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, while we may have our own opinions and register them on this one. We could absolutely be wrong about this one, and they might be the subjects of political conspiracies, because it does happen
Mhm.
to people on our side all the time.
Absolutely. And again, if Andrew Tate, he very much so can be innocent here. There are some things, there are like small nuggets of wisdom in the massive garbage that he states online. So absolutely. And if he is right wing, if he was right wing, but I would have no, I would definitely question it. Absolutely. But the thing is that again, if you just listen to the things that he talks about, if you just, do a quick character analysis of his person, it's not difficult to make the connection that this guy may be guilty of some human trafficking, allegations. Again, you just listen to, it's just his profile, his reputation. He's kind of known to be a scumbag and he revels in it. So if it wasn't for those things and those patterns and some of the things that he said, I would question it 100%, but it's just his reputation, his image, his online persona that he himself purposely cultivated speaks otherwise. So, like I had mentioned in one of my first podcasts here, Austin, is that if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. Okay? It just he looks like it. He looks the part. He acts the part. So, I don't know.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. I'm speaking to Daniela Pensack, who joins us every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Please click that like button if you're enjoying the content that you're hearing and seeing this morning. It's nice to see a nice big audience over on x.com per usual. Hey, guys. We love our Xers. However, just an FYI, if you're watching us over on X, then it's a lot harder to find the comment section over on X, and it's only verified accounts only. So if you'd like to chat with the people who are joining us live this morning, the best way to do it is at our Rumble account. It's at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. And I saw that some of our friends in the Rumble chat were asking questions about the new shows. Kush 050 asked, where do we find the Liberty Tonight show? He says he tried internet searches and Rumble searches, but you don't get their show. Well, that's because it has not debuted yet. It's coming this fall. Culturama, Daniela Pensack, my guest's show, is coming this fall as well. So we just announced them today on the For Liberty Network. If you want to get updates on when these shows are going to go live, and if you want to have exclusive access to Daniela and King Libertarian and Brian Piotr for the new shows, you're going to have to contact us through our Liberty Locals page at forliberty.locals.com. If you're watching us on rumble.com right now already, right underneath the video, you'll see Join Our Locals page. Join us on our Locals page by clicking that button to follow us there at forliberty.locals.com. We'll be streaming the new shows from there. Daniela's already posting over there. So if you'd like to chat with Daniela, you can respond to her in her posts that she makes over at forliberty.locals.com. So if you want to hear more about Liberty Tonight and more about Daniela's Culturama podcast, then head over to forliberty.locals.com and you guys can hear all you want about all the new announcements that are coming very soon. Okay, last question for you, Daniela, before I let you go. I don't know if you were listening earlier when Camille and I were talking about the soy boys of the Democratic Convention.
I was not.
You missed it.
Actually.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm so sorry.
You might have
The
missed
one
it.
time
Then
I
you
missed
might
it.
have missed the clip. Maybe you saw the clip, maybe you didn't. But CNN was reporting on the men at the Democratic Convention and who they were trying to speak to. And here's how the CNN reporter. Let me pull up the video if I can find it real quick. God, I had a million videos. I didn't get to play them all. Dana Bash, she argued that Democrats are trying to speak to men who might not be the testosterone-laden, gun-toting type of guy who wants to listen to Hulk Hogan, and who understands in 2024 it's okay to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. What do you think?
Nice.
What's your immediate take when you hear them say something like that, Daniela?
My immediate take is that they are very much aware of their base, and I think that they're doing the right thing and at least trying to appeal to it. It sounds like the type of men that would support them. But a man who supports his woman, that could mean a lot of things. I guess we would have to parse exactly what that means. I don't necessarily think that's bad, but I have an idea what they're referring to. So, you know, yeah, there are a lot of soy boys out there these days, and whether that's due to what they put in our water or, early childhood indoctrination, it could be a constellation of issues, Austin. Clearly boys are more soft than they were, I would say, in the past, but at least they're aware of their base, and at least they know who to market to. I'll just
So
say that much.
Soy boys. So your new show, Culturama, coming this fall, 1950s style theme. We're still in development for it, but we are getting closer to being able to make an announcement. Daniela, what are you most excited about with your new podcast?
Oh my goodness. Well, I am excited to see it grow, cultivate a wonderful audience that would come and watch it. And hopefully once we get big enough, I'll get really good guests on. I have a few ideas of who I want to get on, and I think I very much could. But it's just a matter of growing it first. So I hope people will be able to tune in. I'm not going to name any names. I want it to be a secret, but I think people will really enjoy it, on what kind of guests I want to bring on. But yeah, I'm really excited to do it. I'm excited to see what kind of people will tune in and listen to me. I have a vague idea of what kind of people are going to listen to me initially. I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys tune in.
Now, the fun thing too about these shows is that it's not just going to be a podcast. It's very much going to mirror the same strategy that we're running, the same playbook we're running here on the Wake Up America show. So I was telling the audience the other day, maybe on Tuesday or so, about how when you and I were sitting down the other day, working out some of the particulars of your show, I was giving you a sort of a back end view of your new merch collection, and you were giggling as you were looking at your new merch. So I know you're excited to interview new guests, but you're also going to have your own sweet new merch line, which I
Oh
think you're
yes.
pretty excited about.
There's gonna be merch out the wazoo. You guys just wait. It's still in its design phase, but I already have a few spicy new ideas I think that people will appreciate.
Excellent. Yes, Culturama will have its own section on the For Liberty Shop website. So it's not just going to be an awesome podcast, but she's going to have her own line of merch. Daniela Pensack, starring in Culturama, the podcast, and the For Liberty Network. Daniela, anything we missed? Anything you'd like to plug before we let you go?
I'm going to be shilling the locals page everywhere I go, Austin. So yes, please go to locals. I have been posting my Substack articles on there as well. If you want to go there instead of Substack, but please go to locals and support me on there. And obviously new updates on the show will be on there. Another place where a lot of updates you can find are going to be on X or Twitter. It's at Pensack Daniela. I say it every time I'm on here. Go follow me on Twitter. And also, if you do want to follow me on Substack, I very much suggest that you read my articles on there as well. But only if you love reading long articles. Otherwise, just follow me on X and Locals.
There we go. Follow it on X and Locals. That's forliberty.locals.com for our new For Liberty Network. Daniela, congratulations. We can't wait to see what you do with Culturama this fall.
It's going to be great. I'm really excited. Thank you, Austin.
Me too. Thanks to Daniela Pensack. Another round of applause as she heads for the exits. Stage left. No, stage right. The Wake Up America show is brought to you in part by viewers and listeners like you. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So scared. We've got 2 new shows, Liberty Tonight and Culturama. Yes. You know what this means? This means that it's not just AP podcaster producer, AK it's now AP podcaster executive producer. Okay, heads up. Let me know in the chat. Are you excited for the For Liberty Network? Yes. Are you a member of the For Liberty Locals page? Well, first of all, let me ask you a question.
How dare you?
And second of all, it's easy. Head to forliberty.locals.com. Join our locals page. That's where you're going to get all the updates about the show. That's where you can connect with Daniela Pensack and Brian Piotr and King Libertarian directly. Send us news stories, hang out, Be a part of growing the next phase of the revolution. That's right. It's the Wake Up America show, Liberty Tonight, and Culturama. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. You and me, right? All right, guys. It's been a great show today. Thanks so much for joining us here. Tomorrow's Freedom Family Friday, which means Baby Hazel will be in the house, along, of course, with my smoking hot redheaded libertarian wifey. You guys just happened to unlock the bonus content by I think you did it by just $2, so congratulations. You unlocked the bonus content, which means you get to see it, and we have a completely unbroken string of bonus content so far. Again, it deserves a round of applause. Great. So watch the bonus content as we head out for our final commercial break. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. If you didn't click the like button before you leave, please do so. And as you're heading out the exits, make sure you exit through the Grift Shop at forlibertyshop.com. For Liberty Shop, the For Liberty Network, Wake Up America Show, Liberty Tonight, Culturama. Aren't those great names? We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow with my beautiful wife and my gorgeous redheaded daughter on the Wake Up America Show on the For Liberty Network. Bye, guys.
Cook Kevin Ford, who received mediocre.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to Wake Up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.